how are we gonna do this? Yeah.
Can I share this recording on YouTube for Japanese?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tito, you my boy. Anything for you.
優しいね。優しい。
じゃあ、チージュさん、お願いします。
今日は、貴重な時間ありがとうございます。フリースタイルロックっていうのを指導から僕も教えてもらったんですけども、そのフリースタイルロックっていうのが、全然僕もあまり歴史とか分かってないので、今回ちょっとインタビューという形でやらせていただきます。よろしくお願いします。そうですね、まず一番最初に聞きたいのは、フリースタイルロックというものはどのようにして誕生したんですか？活動のその1900いつなのか、そしてどのような人たちによって行われていたのか、そしてどこで行われていたのか、お願いします。
So, Papo, first, its introduction. How was Freestyle Rock born? Exactly when? What kind of people were it performed by?
Okay, so Freestyle Rock. Okay, I'm going to go back to the very beginning.
めっちゃ最初に撮ります。
So, in like 1968 and 69, on the neighborhood, on the streets, we used to do just dances to songs, just regular dances, right? Tighten up, the good foot, Mother Popcorn was a popular dance, right? So we took those dances, right? So those dances kind of like came out of the Black community. And the Puerto Ricans, first generation Puerto Ricans, loved that groove, right? So we took the groove from the Black community and we already did salsa, mambo, merengue, right? We did all those dances, the cha-cha-cha. So we took those dances because they were in our blood, they were in our spirit, in our DNA, and we took it and combined it together with the growth of the Black community, right? And that was around 1970. And then what happened with that groove, we started to go to clubs. Clubs began to become prevalent, right? They just opened up. And when we got to the clubs, the music was loud, right? They played it, they just started mixing. Before that, they didn't mix. So they just found mixing. So we took all those songs and we danced them one behind the other. And it was intense, the lights, and we ended up creating rock, right? So we took the groove, put footwork to it, and we started going down. We did drops, right? So that became rock, and that was like 1970. By 1972, it was a full-fledged, whole, complete genre of dance. It was probably the first street style dance. Really organized street style dance. So organized, right? And it was produced in such a slick way that it grew and evolved into breaking, hip hop, and house. So from 72 to 76, it was rock. Then after that, other things started to happen.
Let me translate for them first.
Okay, that was a lot. Can you?
Yeah, I take everything. Don't worry.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
1968年、69年あたりに、その近所のストリートで、普通の、ダンサー、レギュラーダンサーが、フットとかポップコーンっていう動きがフリースタイルロックにもあったと思うけど、それをなんか黒人のコミュニティの人たちが、ステップとしてやっていたのを、プエルトリコの人たちが、このグルーヴかっこいいなっていうことで、 ここの、このグッドフットポップコーンっていうステッププラスこのグルーブプラスもともと自分たちの持っているサルサマンボメレンゲチャチャとかの、踊りを、一緒にしたいっていうことで1970年ぐらいからなんかこれをちょっと一緒にしてみようって感じで踊り始めたそうです。でそこからクラブに行くようになってなんかちょっと大きい音で踊ったりして、そこでいろんな曲がかかってで最終的にグルーブからフットワークそしてドロップを入れて今のスタイルができたのは1972年にこれがコンプリートされたそうです。でこれが最初のストリートダンスと呼ばれてて、それが、その今後その後に派生してブレイキンヒップホップハウスができたということです。
なるほどですね。ちょっともう一つ突っ込んだ質問で、パポさんはブロンクス出身だと思うんですけど、このダンスはもともとブロンクスなんですか？
Papo, you're from Bronx, right?
Yes, I was born and raised in the Bronx. Yes.
So is Freestyle Rock also born in the Bronx too?
Well, you see, so back in my day, it wasn't just the Bronx, right? It was all the boroughs together. So we used to rock was founded and created in clubs, right? Back then we called them juice bars. They turned into discos, and then now they call them clubs. But that's where, and those clubs were in the commercial district in Manhattan. So it was in Manhattan that Bronx, Brooklyn, Upper Manhattan, we all met there, right? And that's where it all took place. So yeah, me and my partner, we came from the Bronx. There were a lot of rock dancers who came from the Bronx. A lot of them. I would say the majority that were in the clubs were from the Bronx. But you had great dancers that came from the Upper West Side in Manhattan, right? As a matter of fact, they were from 90th Street. And they were at one time the best. I learned a lot from them. And then you had people from the Lower East Side. You had Brooklyn. You had Queens. You had Staten Island. You had Yonkers. All the boroughs came together. So rock was a New York City thing. It wasn't just, it was New York City.
OK。一概にブロンクスだけとは言えずに、そのクラブでいろんなところからマンハッタン、クイーンズ、ブロンクスから来た人たちが集まって一緒に作ったダンスだから、もちろんほぼほぼの大多数がブロンクスが多いけど、なんかアッパーウエストサイドの90丁目ぐらいにめっちゃいいなんかフリースタイルロックのダンサーがいるらしいです。で一応このフリースタイルロックっていうのはニューヨークの踊りっていう認識でいるみたいです。
なるほどですね。
はい。
もうちょっと突っ込んだ質問なんですけども、そのダンスは最初からフリースタイルロックと呼ばれてたのか、みんなのその呼び名と、あとその当時のブロンクス、ニューヨークの生まれた時代背景、状況、社会的状況っていうものがどういう感じだったのかなっていう、どういう時代背景から生まれてきたのかな。
時代背景ね。ちょっと待ってくださいね。
社会状況とかもあると思うんですけど。
OK です。はい。two more things. Did you call this dance Freestyle Rock from then, or like somebody named Freestyle Rock after 1970? And one more thing is please tell me about the time background at that time.
The what?
Time background, like 何ですか？ちょっと待ってくださいね。社会的な 政治的な感じですか？政治的な背景。
いや、そのブロンクスの社会状況ですね。そういう、そういう、例えばギャングとか、そういうエコノミー、経済とか。
うん。
どういう状
You want to know about the Bronx, about the economic situation in the Bronx back then?
Okay. The cultural, I got you. Okay, so first about Freestyle Rock. So the original, right, way back in 1970, we just called it rock.
Just call rock, okay.
Rock, right. And it was never referred to as Bronx Rock, Brooklyn Rock. No one even said up rock. They say burning. They didn't even use the word burn to describe rock, right? Burning was just a move that you did. So it was just rock. Now what happened was when me and my partner Enoch came back into the scene, which was about I think 10 years ago, right? So Wiggles and Fable did some research, right? They were looking at the very beginning, and it led them to me and my partner Enoch, right? So they interviewed us and they brought us back in, right? So when me and Enoch came back in, for us, we didn't know all this was going on. So when we heard people started to argue with us because they didn't know us. They didn't even know about the rock dance because we just disappeared. That whole culture, all the dances, we just disappeared. By 1976, people were working, some went back to school, one became a boxer, so everybody just left. So when we came back, you have people talking about up rock, outlaw rock, burning, and we were like, what's all that? So one day they were asking us what was the difference, right? It was at a panel discussion. I think it's called Step Up Your Game with Buddha Stretch. So somebody asked us about, you know, what's the difference with all these rock dances? And I said, look, we only really had one back in my day. I mean, people did other things, but the one I know about was just rock. And then Enoch said it was a freestyle type of dance, right? So there we kept it. We said, okay, if you want to see the difference is that we do freestyle, right? So it became Freestyle Rock. So that was just 10 years ago that we came up with the term Freestyle Rock, and that was Enoch. And that was to make sure everybody knew that what we did was really different. Really different, right? Because the up rock that we saw was mostly like fighting, like they were play fighting. They were humiliating each other. We didn't do that when we danced. Our dance was purely for joy, right? We competed, but we did it from the heart and we did it for joy, right? It was sexy. We danced for the girls. The girls danced for us, right? So it was very different. So we had to come up with a way to describe it as different. And that's where the whole Freestyle Rock came in.
Okay.
So back in that time, economically, things were hard, right? So on the street, there was a lot of gangs, right? And a lot of us didn't like the gangs. I knew gangs and I was friends with some of the gang members, but that's not what I wanted to do. So that's where rock and the whole dance culture came in. It took me and most of the people I know away from that gang and that gang culture that you got in trouble with, right? So, I mean, we found different trouble, but it was going to the clubs, right? The other thing for us, the way we dressed was really important. We always dressed really nice, right? We used to have nice pants, nice shirts. We used to wear Apple Jacks. At one time we wore khakis, vests. Another time we wore suits. We would dance in suits. We used to wear heels, shoes, heels this big. We used to dance in the heels. So dress was a big part of our culture. Big part of our culture. And most of us, you know, we were poor. We were poor, which is why we didn't keep the dance alive, right? Because at that time, see, so me and my partner, we got signed up to be with the dance group. It was called the Latin Symbolics. I would say that was the first street style dance group, probably, definitely at that time. It was the only one, really. And we got paid, but so I would get a job today and then get another job 3 months later, and then 3 months later, and that wasn't enough, you know? So, you know, it wasn't a culture where we could make money. You know, that came later, which is why I went back to school. You know, I went back, I studied theater. You know, Mike Dominguez, who was a great, great dancer, he became a boxer. He won the Golden Gloves. You know, my partner Enoch joined the religion. He became a born-again Christian. You know, Danny, another great dancer, got a job with the Board of Ed. So we all, you know, and we left, we stopped dancing. We just disappeared. We disappeared.
Okay.
Okay.
And what was the name of the group you joined?
The Latin Symbolics.
Latin Symbolics.
Symbolics.
Okay. Can you write it down later? Yeah.
I could write it down later. Yeah. So it's SYM BO SYM
B
BOL
mhm.
ICS. So it's like
symbolic.
Right. So it's symbolics.
Latin symbolics. Got it.
And it was all Puerto Ricans in that group.
OK。で、まず呼び名についてですけど、1970年代はロックダンスっていうか、ロックって呼ばれてて、まあ、ブロンクスの人がやったらブロンクスロック、ブルックリンの人がやったらブルックリンロックみたいな感じでやってて、10年前に、まあ、ウィグルスとフェーブルがなんか、まあ、ちょっと討論してて、で、まあ、言うたらその1976年以降から、パポとかエノクとかみんなちょっと離れてた時期があって、だからみんなその知らずに2人のことを知らずにウィグルスとかがフリースタイルロックをなんとなく伝えてて、あ、こういうダンスがあるんだって思ってたけど、2人の存在を知らなかったから、なんかみんながなんか多分いろんなスタイルがアップロックとかのロックと何が違うのみたいな、いろんなロックがあるけどみたいになって、でなんかストレッチかなんかがなんかその話はなんかエノックと、パポに聞いて、で何が違うか、アップロックは戦うスタイルで、フリースタイルロックはもう喜び、心から踊る、まあセクシーに、まあ、女性に対して踊るっていう部分で、エノックがこれはフリースタイルの種類のダンスですよって言ったことによってフリースタイルロックって呼ばれるようになったのが10年前。だからつい最近の話です。で、社会的経済的背景はやっぱギャングが多くて、まあ、やりたくなかったから、そういう人はまあクラブに行って、でまあなんかダンスを、まあ、頑張るというか、まあ、ダンスの方にこうのめり込むみたいな。だけどその時に、着飾ることによってなんていうの違いをつけたというか、いいシャツ着てパンツ着てスーツとかちゃんとヒールを履いてクラブに行って踊るっていうのがこのね着てるものが非常に大事だったそうです、その当時。ですごく貧しかったからなんかさっき言ってたラティンシンボリックスっていうプエルトリコのダンスチームに入ったけど仕事が全然ないと、3ヶ月に1回とか全然仕事がなくって、みんなだからなんか全然違うボクシングやったり、パポもなんか学校に行き直して勉強したりとかいろいろなんかそれで離れちゃったりとかして、でなんかその当時はなんていうの だからこうダンスに一本っていうよりはちょっとこういう貧しい背景があったからなかなかダンスだけっていう感じではなかったそうです。
なるほどっすね。
So the other important thing I think to say about the whole freestyle rock thing. So back when we danced, we never said Brooklyn style. We never said Bronx style. We never said Manhattan style, right? So what we used to do though was like whoever was like the best dancer, we used to call it their style. So you had Mike Dominguez style, right? You had Dee Dee and Louis style. You had Johnny and Hector style. And then you had Enoch and Papo style. So we named our style after the dancers and the way the dancers dance.
なんかその当時はブロンクスのスタイルとかブルックリンのスタイルとかいうのじゃなくって、そのダンサーがやってるスタイル、パポとエノックのスタイルとか、まあ、他のダンサーちょっと聞き取れなかったんですけど、他にフリースタイルロックをやってる人たちの名前でスタイルが呼ばれてたそうです。
はい。
で、get it。
いきなり2つ目ですね。
はい。
まず質問。なぜ、まあ、現在なんですけど、現在の活動について、なぜ時を経て今も活動を行っているんですか？その精力的に、ズームの、まあ、今こういう社会状況なんで、コロナの状況なんで、まあ、ズームのクラスとかありますけど、まあ、最近だと中国行ったりとか、
はい、
呼ばれて、やったりもしてますが、今 また活動を行っている理由はなぜですか？
So about the recent activities, why did you start teaching it again over the years, like workshop in China or Zoom sessions?
Yeah, so what happened was once Wiggles brought me back into the scene, I started to dance and became in love with the dance again. Hold on. I became in love with the dance again. And I just started dancing and I got better and better and I started to do videos. And then people started to ask me about what I was doing, how I did it, could I teach it? And then I got invited to the first real big teaching that I did. I got invited to the street style lab that they do in New York. It was a huge event. That was my first event. Nicole from I think she's from Switzerland or Sweden. She's the one who put it together. KenSwift invited me, and I did my workshop. I taught dance, and I gave history like I'm doing now. And then from there on in, people started booking me. They said, "Papo, come over here. Papo, come over." And then now, rock is old, but all of a sudden it's new again. And it's beautiful, it's a sexy dance. It's a party dance. So more and more people want to learn it. So two things, right? My love for the dance and then the interest in other people, other dancers, and wanting to learn. You know, Shido was one of my best students. He came all the way to the Bronx. All days with me. We worked hard. We've been working for the last 14 weeks. She's the rock master, as far as I'm concerned. So that's why I'm teaching. More and more people want to learn.
Okay. まず、ウイグルスが自分をダンスシーンに戻したと。で、すごく自分もダンスがまた好きになって、で、また踊り始めたら自分もどんどん上手くなっていくのが分かったから、動画とかを載せたらいろんな人からどうやるのを教えてっていう声がかかって、で、ストリートスタイルラブニューヨークのイベントに呼ばれ、その人になんかスイスかスウェーデンかでやったイベントにKenSwiftから教えてほしいって呼んでもらって、で、まあなんかそういうのが増えてって、また教えるきっかけができて、で、まあロックはもう古いけど、そのやっぱ一番最初のストリートダンスの始まりって言われてるから古いけど、また古いからこそ新しくみんながやりたいっていうものになってきて、で、そしてパーティーダンスだからまあみんながやっぱりやりたいと思うスタイルだから、結構いろんな人がやりたいって言ってくれて教えたいとまた思ったと。で、まあシドはマスターだって言ってる。
ありがとうございます。
すごい。
いやいやいや。
マスターなんだ。
はい。
そうですか。なるほどっすね。いや、そうか。やっぱウィーグルスきっかけだったんですね。なるほど。
KenSwift はどういう関係性なんですか？
そうですね。それも聞きたいですね。
フリーストの関係性。what kind of a relationship with you and KenSwift?
Yeah, it's Kenny. I reached out to him, and then he reached out back in the very beginning, and we connected right away. Like, we became friends. He respects me. I respect him. What I say about the rock dance makes sense, right? I was there. I was in the middle of all of it. So I have a good sense. I got a good vision, a good experience with it. And so that's all Ken just likes the truth. So, and he got that from me. So we have a very good relationship. He me up all the time, ask me, if I need him to help me promote my dance classes, he'll do it for me. So yeah, very good relationship. I have, mad respect for KenSwift.
So did you know him as a b-boy or just?
I just met him. So when I came back, right, I didn't know that street style dance was global. I didn't know anything about b-boys really. I remember when I was young and I watched them, I seen them, but I didn't know how big it became. So it was all new to me. So I know when I met him and Wiggles and Fable, they were the guys who said, yo, there's a whole world out there. They were the ones who taught me. And then Buddha Stretch taught me a lot about this, about the b-boy world. But I didn't know too much about it.
OK。なんかストリートダンスにまた彼がそのダンスに戻った時にウィグルスとかフェイブル、ストレッチ、この3人によく出てくるこの3人がストリートダンスの世界について、彼が離れてた間のことを教えてくれて、ストリートダンスがこんなにでかくなってるとはって思ったらしくて、パポは。でそこからケンと連絡を取り合うようになって、でケンはすごくロックダンスのことをリスペクトしているから、そういうので教えてほしいだったりとか、お互いにそういう共有をしてて知り合いになったそうです。
なるほどですね。なるほど。いや、じゃあちょっともう3つ目ですね。
はい。
また、過去に戻るんですけれども、
はい。
先ほどパポさんの方からフリースタイルロックとは女性に対してのアプローチでもあるダンスだと、セクシーなダンスだという話をしてたんですけども、このフリースタイルロックっていうのはその当時ですね、どのような時に、クラブとも言ってたんですけど、どのような場所で、そしてどのようなファッション、先ほどのファッションもスーツだったりヒールだったりっていうのも言ってたんですけれども、そのクラブで踊ってた時のDJ なのか生楽器で踊ってたのか生演奏で踊ってたのか、どんな感じで踊られてたのかなっていうその状況ですね。シチュエーションを教えていただけると。
Please tell me about the situation back in the days, like when did you dance freestyle rock and where did you dance and what kind of clothes did you put on when you perform?
Okay, so we danced in clubs basically. We danced. Listen, I went everywhere. I would go if someone wanted to compete against me. I would go to their neighborhood, whether they lived in Brooklyn, Manhattan, wherever it went. Me and my partner, wherever it was, me and my partner went. So we danced in the streets, sometimes in the parks, right? Recreation centers, but most of the time we were in those clubs that I talked about, right? So the clubs was a phenomenon. They were new, right? People didn't go to clubs at that time. So it was the Jewish mob, right? The Jewish mob saw that there was this dance, right? That there was a lot of people that liked it, right? And they saw it in the Puerto Rican community. So what happened was they opened up these clubs and invited us in to dance, and they would get packed. They made a lot of money off of us because of the way we danced. So there was, I can name a whole bunch of clubs, right? The Ruby Fool, the Pegasus, the Jungle, the Zoo, right? The Sanctuary was like probably the biggest and the best of them all right? The first club I went to was in 1972. It was called the Fresh.
Fresh.
Right? Then I went to the Contiki, right? Then it was the Footsteps, and it was always the same owners, right? Then it became a place called the Abbey. You had the Charisma, you had the Red and White, you had the Boomba Macau, you had the Duplex. These were all clubs that opened, right? So they didn't have liquor licenses at first. So all their money came from the door, right? And it was the Puerto Rican community. There was also people from the Black community, the Asian community. Everybody went, but the most was the Puerto Rican community. So they charged at the door. And then once they got their liquor license, that's when everything changed, right? That's when other communities started coming in. As a matter of fact, people who spend money started to come in. So that's when they eased us out, right? But it was the clubs that rock was founded, created, and developed. The other real important thing, which I mentioned before, is the DJs, right? So these DJs in these clubs, they found mixing. Before that, you just put one record, take it off, put another one. But these DJs, they found mixing. So mixing changed the clubs forever. One record after another, after another, after another. And these DJs mastered that, right? You can look in Wikipedia. One's name is Francis Grasso. You can see his in Wikipedia. He'll go down as probably the first DJ of all time who started mixing. But there were other DJs. Our DJ, the one we went to, every time he opened up a club, was Alfie. Alfie was a Black gay man who was amazing, amazing as a DJ. Anywhere he DJ'd, the clubs got packed. As soon as they found out it was Alfie, everybody went. And he played all the rock songs. Like, we'll be just standing around, he'll play a rock song, and about 20 in a row, one after another, after another, after another. So that's where we got our inspiration from, the DJs, right? The other thing, like I mentioned before, we got dressed up. You know, we didn't wear jeans, we didn't wear sneakers. We wore slacks, we wore shoes, right? Sometimes we wore suits, we wore hats, right? We dressed to impress. That was a big deal for us, the way we dressed. I used to go, between you and me, I used to go shoplift for my clothes, right? And then wear a nice outfit that night and dance. We were like performers. We felt like we were going to the club to perform. So we wanted to be at our best. We wanted to look our best, to dress our best, and to dance our best. It all went together.
So I didn't get some parts. So, can you tell me about the Jewish thing one more time?
Okay, that's a good question. So the Jewish mob, that was like the mafia, right?
Mafia.
Right. It was Jewish. It was Jewish. And it was organized crime, right? Because the clubs, they didn't have licenses. They weren't supposed to be open. They were open till 6 in the morning. There was times that they came in and raided the club and took us to jail. So those clubs, you know, they did a lot of illegal things, but they made a lot of money. And that was the most important thing for them. They made money, but they played the music. The clubs were beautiful. The lights light show. So, that's three parts, right? So you had the Jewish mafia who owned the clubs, right? You had the DJs who made the clubs famous, and then you had us, the rock dancers, and the hustle. The hustle was part of it too. So you had us, the dancers, who attracted people from all over. People used to come in from New Jersey, from Connecticut, from Long Island, just to watch. It was a cultural phenomenon. It was something that everybody came from everywhere. People would travel from Delaware. I was there one time, I was at the Fresh one time, and there was a whole group from France. They came in, they came to the Fresh, and they were like, wow. And they watched us dance, and they were like, wow. So it was a cultural phenomenon, no question about it.
So,
and it was the beginning of clubs. It was the beginning of clubs, yeah.
So the Jewish mafia asked you to perform there, or you just jump in? And,
yeah, we just jump in. Yeah, they didn't pay us. Nothing. No, it was just the club. And when the music came on, we danced. They would do a circle around us. People would hear about us. You know, like me and my partner, Enoch and Papo, everybody knew. Everybody knew us. They used to come from all over just to watch us dance. Some came to compete against us. Some came to watch.
Wow, so that's why you got some tip from the customer who came to watch you guys.
They didn't give us no money. They didn't give us no tips. No. We just did it because we loved it, right? It got us a lot of attention. And it also got us a lot of girls. Right? That was a big thing for us. All right? Us dancers, we had, forget it, all the girls liked us. So that's what we cared about. That's what we cared about.
Got it.
And the girl dancers, the same thing. You know, all the guys loved the girl rock dancers. So it was all about, you know, I guess about popularity.
OK。まず、どっからだ？クラブがまあ基本でやっぱりやってて、で、まあ近所でそのパポとかの評判を聞いて、パポとかと戦いたい人は近所に来たり、まあ彼らが行ったり、まあレクリエーションセンターみたいなところで、まあなんかこうバトルみたいなのをやってたみたいで、で、まあ、その当時なんか、そういうさっき言ったユダヤマフィアがなんかクラブを牛耳ってなんか彼らがまあライセンスとかないけどないから本当はやっちゃいけないんだけどなんかまあうまくクラブを牛耳っていたらしくて彼らはめちゃめちゃ儲けてたそうです。で大事なのがそうこのユダヤマフィアがまずクラブを作った一番大事なポイントで2番目が DJ でこの DJ っていうのが、以前までこの1970年代前はワンレコードを流して変えて次のレコードっていうのだったんだけどそのパポたちがクラブに行き出すようになってからそのミキシングができるようになってクラブが変わったと。でそのなんかアルフィーって多分アルフィーって名前だったんですけど黒人のなんかゲイのクラブDJ がいてこの人がもうめちゃめちゃ客を呼ぶ人でこの人が流す曲は全部ロックの曲だったそうです。でまあなんか酒の販売とかがまあ当時 NG でまあ普通に多分チャージをドアで入り口で払って入るって感じの。でプエルトリコのコミュニティがそうプエルトリコのコミュニティを気に入ってで、このフリースタイルロックを多分やってほしいみたいな感じで彼らがクラブに行くようになったということですね。で、だからロックダンスは、クラブで発掘されクラブで発展したと。
なるほどっすね。
で、まあ、すごく、まあ、とにかく DJ にすごくインスピレーションを受けています。であとそのまあクラブのこの この文化をみんなが見たくて、いろんなところ、別の州とか、フランスからとかも来たりして、で、まあその DJ が流してサイファーでロックダンサーズが踊るっていうのをみんなが見たくて来る。で、あとは女性と男性は踊ったらめちゃめちゃ女子にモテるし、女子が踊れば男子からモテるっていうのが、これがまあ人気の秘訣というか、ここも重要なポイントだそうです。
なるほどっすね。
はい。で、ごめんなさい。あと、
どうぞ。
さっき言ってたやつでした。やっぱりスニーカーとかジーンズはなしで、まあ、スラックス、シューズ、スーツ、ハットっていう、これがすごく大事だそうです。はい。
で、ちょっと音楽の話が出たんで、その時かかってた音楽っていうのは、僕がそのパポさんとイノックさんのルーティンを YouTube で見た時に、ジェームス・ブラウンの「ターン・イット・ア・ルース」とか「ジャスト・ビガン」、要はブレイクビーツ、b ボーイが踊るブレイクビーツの定番の曲で踊ってるのをルーティンとかソロで踊ってるのを見てるんですけども、そういう曲ばっかりだったのかなっていうのと、なぜこういう曲がフリースタイルロックと相性がいいのか、ハマるのか。
What kind of music did you dance with? And Chuchu saw some of your YouTube, and then you guys dance with JB or Just Began. Why do JB's song or Just Began match with Freestyle
Rock? So again, the rock songs that were played by these DJs, they're the ones who found them, and these songs were not on the radio. Right? They were all underground. Everything we did was underground, even the clubs, right? No one really knew that this whole culture existed. You had to be in it, right? So the songs though, so James Brown, Give It Up and Turn It Loose, It's a New Day, The Good Foot, Mother Popcorn, those are all songs that had soul, right? And they were fast. They were fast beat. So rock is very fast, right? And it's intense. So we dance to other songs. It's Just Begun, right? Jimmy Castor. We dance to Listen to Me, Baby Huey. Get Into Something by the Isley Brothers. Hot Pants, I'm Coming. That was Bobby Bird. These guys were all, so it was soulful rock, right? But so that was the hard rock that we danced to, right? So there's a whole lot of them. I don't know if you want me to mention. We had the Mexican. We had Moment of Truth by Earth, Wind and Fire. Music from Gangang by Osabisa. I got a whole list. I can send it to Shido if you want the list. But also, we used to do a softer rock, which was more easy. And we danced to songs like It's a Shame. That was slower, right? We danced to My Mistake, which was slower. We danced to a song called La La Peace Song by O.C. Smith, all right? We danced to Don't Bring Back the Memories by the, not the Temptations, the Four Tops, all right? We danced Running Back and Forth. That was Edwin Starr. So we had hard rock, which was fast, and then we had a cool rock, right? That was nice and slow, that we danced with the girls. So it was two different kinds of rock, songs and rock dances.
まずこの文化が的にも全部がアングラだったよ。誰も知らない文化だから全てがクラブの中で行われてた。でやっぱ DJ が選んだ曲に合わせて踊ってたっていうことですね。で、なんでこれが選ばれたかまでちょっとまだもう一回聞いてみますけど、でとにかくなんかこうソウルっぽい曲がやっぱりソウルっぽくて速い曲がやっぱりフリースタイルロックに合うらしくて、でハードな曲だから多分ジャスビガンとかメキシカンとかさっき言ったアース&ウィンドファイアとかあの辺は結構ハードだけど、It's a Shameとか そういう感じのスローな曲でソフトに踊るロックってなんか2種類あったみたいで、このハードにめちゃめちゃ踊るのとこのグルーブ、まあスローソフトロックになると、これは女子と踊るときにすごくいい曲調だったそうです。So, Papo, so did the DJ pick break beats when you guys danced?
Well, it was, see, that's the other thing. We danced to the whole song. Right? We didn't just dance to the break part. We danced to the whole song. I used to dance like to 15 songs in a row.
Wow.
Without stopping. So it wasn't like I picked my spots. Everything was my spot. Right? Everything. Rock, the rock dance, the true rock dance is very much like house. House doesn't stop. House doesn't wait for a break beat. It just dances. That's how we did rock. We danced the whole song, and when the break part came, we did more, right? It got more intense. But we danced the whole song with everything we had. With all our heart, we danced. We didn't save it. We didn't save it for the break. We did it the whole time. The whole time we danced.
So doesn't matter, like even if they play house or hip hop, doesn't matter, you can dance with, right?
Yeah, well, they didn't play hip hop or house at that time. They didn't have that. What I'm saying is that it was rock. But we danced the whole song to every song, right? So when I started to dance, I start here like this, and then I go like this, like this, like this, like this, and like this. So that's how we did our dancing. We didn't wait.
I see.
We went with the music. You know, with crescendo, and then bang at the end, you know. And so I would dance like 15, 16, 17 records in a row.
Wow.
We would do routines to our songs. Me and my partner were probably the first ones who did routines to the whole song, from the beginning to the end, a routine.
とりあえずヒップホップとかハウスとかがまだない時代の話で、なんでやっぱこういうソウルっぽい曲が主流の時だったみたいで、どんな曲でもかかったらもう全部ブレイクのパートを待たずにもう最初からテンション上げてもうめちゃめちゃ踊るっていう。だからもう全然15曲をもうなんていうの、ストレートに全然踊るとかもあったし、とにかくそのブレイクのパートまでこうやって待ってテンションをこう保つっていうことなく、とにかく踊りまくってたそうです。
はい、大丈夫ですか？次じゃあ行って大丈夫ですか？
はい。
ネクストなんですけども、パポさんたちがそしてフリースタイルロックを1960年代終わりから1970年代初頭活動してまして、その後にブレイキングが誕生していきます。
はい。
当時それをどのように思いましたかっていうのと、自分のその歴史的なビデオだったり、まあドキュメントでフレッシュテストキズっていうのがあって、それによればニガーツインズっていう双子の兄弟がアップロックとかを始めてブレイキングの始まりと認識しているのですが、その当時ブレイキングが生まれたことについてどう思いますか？
はい。
はい。
So at that time, what did you think about breaking was born? And Chuchu heard about nigger twins from the video called Fresh Kids started dancing breaking first. If you know anything about them, please let me know.
Yeah, well, no, I don't know anything about them. I spoke to this guy, this dancer, Doug Cologne, who was back in the beginning of breaking. So I think what happened was that community, we were the best dancers on the street. The rock dancers were the best. And we influenced everybody else. So the break dance community, they saw us right? In the beginning, not when they were doing, the floor moves. I'm talking about in the beginning, the very beginning, rock influenced breaking. Now, what I will say, when I first saw breaking, I didn't like it because to me it wasn't dancing, right? We looked at it. As a matter of fact, we called it gymnastics. It was more gymnastics, right? So we didn't appreciate it like I do now. Now I appreciate it, but back then, again, we took our dance serious, right? We would watch guys like Gregory Hines on TV, Gregory Hines, Mikhail Baryshnikov. They were jazz and ballet. We considered ourselves like you have ballet, you had jazz, right? You had modern, and you had rock. That's how we felt. So for us, it was a dance. So when we saw breaking, we said, that's not dancing, right? So we at first rejected it. And the other thing you have to understand is that it was change, right? Things started to change. We didn't want it to change, right? I was having fun and I loved what we did. So I wanted it to stay the same, but nothing stays the same. Everything evolves. And eventually I learned to appreciate breaking. I appreciate hip hop, house. I have tremendous respect for all the street style dancers that have come after me, my partner Enoch, Mike, Danny, all of us that were there from the beginning. We're proud. We're like, we're joyful about everything that's taken place after.
Okay. まずその2月ツインズについてはよくわからないそうです。
I didn't know. I just heard about them recently. I didn't know who they were.
Okay.
But I will say this, that somebody sent us a video. I don't know if it was them, but it was somebody from the beginning of b-boying or breaking. And when I saw it, I said, yo, that's rock. He's doing rock. So the beginning of b-boying was a semblance of rock.
OK。なんかビデオを見せてもらったことがあったらしいんですけど、多分最初にやったと思われる b ボーイのでもロックだったそうです。彼が見たと。ですごい影響を受けてるなっていう感じだったみたいで、そうでその当時 b ボーイコミュニティを、見たときに、まあやっぱロックから来てるなみたいな。影響を受けてるなっていうのも感じて、でもブレイキンのことは好きじゃなかったと。なんかもう体育、ジムナスティック、アクロバットみたいな感じで、感謝もしてなかったし、なんか、こっちはなんか真面目にやってんのにみたいな感じで、そのグレゴリー・ハインズさん、
タップダンスの超
そういう人たち、なんかそのメディアとかテレビに出てるそういうジャズとかバレエがあってモダンがあってロックダンスがやるみたいな感じ。だからブレイキン一緒にしないでみたいなノリだったそうです。でも今はこうやってストリートスタイルとしてブレイキンも広がったりしてるから、すごくみんなフリースタイルロックの皆さんもすごい喜びで溢れてると。だから今はもうヒップホップにも感謝、ブレイキンにもハウスにも全部に感謝してる。
なるほどっすね。じゃあもう佳境なんですけれども、
はい、
先ほどミスター・ウィーグルス、フェイブル、ブッダ・ストレッチ、これはもう本当のニューヨークのオリジネーター、ブレイキング、ポッピング、そして、ブッダ・ストレッチはもうニューヨークのニュースクールのヒップホップダンスの、オリジネーター、そして、そういう人たちがロックダンス、フリースタイルロックにまた注目して、KenSwiftもそうですけど、伝えようとしていると後世に、日本だと指導が伝えようとしていることについてどう思いますか？
はい。それでその最終的に、フリースタイルロックがどうなったらいいか
目指す今後の未来はどういう、そうですね。
はい、そうですね。
what is the future goal for Freestyle Rock? Like Mr. Wiggles and Fable or Stretch and also Shido trying to teach and pass down the skill to all over the world. So what do you think about that?
I'm excited. I'm excited. So I just finished. I'm doing a rock dance series, and I have a lot of b-boys that came to me and they couldn't even move. Now they can dance. I taught them how to dance. Right? Shido already, when he came, Shido already had grooves. Shido, but a lot they did it. So now they can dance. If you go on my page, Freestyle Rock group, there's this guy Kevin who's a b-boy. He just put a video. He looks beautiful, and he couldn't do a step, you know. So I you know, I'm excited. I think that like this is going to be a new, you know, it's old, but it's going to become new, and I think a lot of people are going to want to learn it because it's always nice to go back to the beginning, right? So the way I dance, the way I move. Not too many people could do that, right? And dance is about movement. And people are now, they want to learn how to move. Not the b-boys just don't want to break anymore. They want to learn how to move. So, you know, I put together an online course that in 1 month, it's going to be a membership. And I'm teaching 1 step a week. So I'm going to be teaching a lot, right? I got Shido, who's a teacher. He's going to teach a lot. I have all my students now, I'm telling them to teach. I have Felipe, I have Maggie, I have Suimo. I have a lot of people who are going to start teaching rock now. So rock is going to start to grow. So old is the new, right? And what we're doing is we're flipping the trend. Yeah, Cheeto got the flyer there. That's one of my flyers. So it's a movement, right? I'm starting a movement. And with this movement though, I want people to understand that it's about joy. It's about love, right? When I dance, when I teach, from the heart, it's about love, right? When I first came out, this is real important. When I first came out and I spoke to a big crowd at the street style and I was talking history, the questions were not about dance. They wanted to know about what I went through. They wanted to know my story, right? People want to know, you know, they want to get into the soul. So I want to use dance, right? To spread love, right? To inspire respect, to inspire goodness. You know, I think that's what I want to do. That's what I think. This is a movement. It's a movement of dance, joy, respect, love, all of it together.
Okay. すごく興奮してますと。なんか結構 b ボーイとかも受けに来てくれて、なんかシド君とかはもともとグルーヴがあって踊れるからあれだけど、やっぱりそのリズムが取れない b ボーイとかもいると。だけどそういう人たちが自分のフリースタイルロックのオンラインを受けて踊れるようになって、それを見るのが嬉しいし、またそれで新しいものにどんどんなっていくと。でやっぱ初めにBack to the beginning するのはすごくいいことで、みんなができることじゃないし、なんかもっと広めていきたい。で、そのオンラインの1ヶ月コースを今度からやるのは、1週間で1ステップっていう感じで、どんどんステップを教えていくっていう感じ。で、今それを教えて、指導君にしっかり今他の生徒が世界中でフリースタイルロックを教え始めてくれてるのがすごく嬉しくて、で、ますます成長していると。で、そのみんなに分かってほしいのは、この、喜びと愛ですね。ダンスを通して。それを理解してほしい。もう、It's about love です。 これは。で、そのストリートのイベントとかに行っても、なんか質問されるのがダンスのことっていうよりも自分のなんかストーリーとかその心持ちみたいなのを聞かれることが多いから、自分はこのフリースタイルロックを踊ることを通して自分の生きてきた話、ストーリーだったりとか、まあ、自分の心とか、あと人に対するリスペクトとかラブをこのダンスで伝えていきたいっていうことです。
なるほどですね。いや、もう
素晴らしい。
素晴らしくて、自分も言葉ちょっと、最後だけちょっと理解できたんですよ。入ってきたっていうか。それはなぜかっていうと、もうちょっと時間過ぎちゃったんですが、最後に、すごくヒップホップは4大要素があって、まあ、目に見えるものは、グラフィティとブレイキングとラップと DJ なんですけど、目に見えない部分があって、それはマインドの部分でピース、ユニティ、ラブ、ハブファンなんですよね。やっぱりそこの原型のダンスなんですね。感じたんですよね。やっぱりそこがヒップホップにつながっていくと僕は感じてるんですけれども、やっぱそういう感じって勝手に思ってるんですけど、やっぱフリースタイルロックっていうのはそういうものなのか、そのパポさんにとってはどういうものなのか、さっきラブっていう、まあ、お話出たんで、まあ、最後にこれを。
So hip hop include b-boying, DJ, graffiti, and MC, right? And then that's visual thing. But in visual thing, peace, unity, and love, having fun. So Choo think these in visual thing go through to hip hop. So what do you think about this? This is he feels these things are important for hip hop.
Well, I do too, you know, and I believe, and I'll just talk about dance, but I think the hip hop community it's supposed to bring people together, not tear them apart. All right? But I think what happens is people in general are in pain. Right? Everybody does their own suffering. So they bring that with them. Right? So to me, dance should be, and hip hop, all of it should be about healing. Right? That is what dance is for. It is for healing. Dance does not split people up. Dance brings people together. It's supposed to make you feel joy. Right? So when a person is sad, you turn on the music and you dance and you feel good. That's the only thing it's supposed to be for. It's not for the tough guys. I don't know how that happened. All of a sudden, everybody wants to be a tough guy. That's overplayed. You know, when you tough, you tough. I'm a tough guy. I don't have to show anybody. I grew up because I had to be tough. But I think it's more about healing, right? It's more about love. It's more about connecting, right? It's people, right? And it's about us sharing our stories, right? When I dance, I feel like I'm sharing something with you. Right? And when I share something with you, you know what happens? Our hearts come together, right? And then pow, into the universe, right? So I think that's what's more important, and I want to see that happen, and that's part of what I'm doing. You know, I want to shift from being tough to being loving, right? Right? From being off-putting to being accepting. You know, instead of punching, I want to hug. Okay? So for me, this is like a beautiful tool to use for healing. And I'm not sure if that's happening, but I want to be part of making it happen.
Okay. 本当その通りだと思います。まあヒップホップという、コミュニティは人々を、一つにするもので、みんなそれぞれ痛みとか苦しみがね、何かしらあると思うけど、 それをまあ癒すものがなんかダンスであり、例えばまあどんなに落ち込んでても音楽聴いて踊ることで、まあ、幸せになれる、ね、そういうことをまあ彼は伝えていきたい。でなんかまあ大事なのは、まあ、ラブ、あとコネクト、人とつながること、それをシェアすること、でそうすることによって心がつながって、まあ、こう広がると。で、その、まあ、いい言葉ね、これが、beautiful tools to heal っていうのが、まあ、美しい、そのダンスは、人の心を癒す美しい道具であるっていう名言を言いました。
素晴らしいです。
それをその部分を一番伝えていきたいということだそうです。パポは。
僕からは以上です。
はい。
素晴らしいのが出ましたね。いや、なんか僕もインタビューして、心が浄化されちゃったんで、今。
ああ。
チジさんもじゃあオンラインぜひ、パポのオンライン、
そうですね、
はい、受けてください。
素晴らしいですね。心がちょっと浄化されちゃった。もう僕からは以上です。はい、皆さんの
OK です。
素晴らしい貴重なお時間でした。貴重なお話を本当ありがとうございました。
じゃあ全部終わりなんで。
はい。
Thank you for a great time, Papo.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime. Anytime.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
仲いいな。
You all my family now.
Yay.
Yay. みんなファミリ
ー。Hopefully I get to see you guys.
Yeah, in Japan, definitely.
そうね、ぜひ生で会いたいっすね。ぜひ生で会いたい。
I was supposed to go April, but the virus, you know.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Okay, guys, I love you. Thank you.
Yeah, I love you too.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Have a good night. No.
Have
Have a good day.